Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Dave Glaser in Denver, Colorado. Today, we want to dig into a topic that I am extremely excited about, very passionate about. It is the soapbox that I stand upon every single time that I take to TikTok or Instagram. And that is the dimension of modern dating that is dating apps. If you followed along on my journey of the last 4+ years of hosting the podcast and of being single, minus a relationship or two in the middle there, you'll understand that I have a love-hate relationship with the dating apps. And let me just cover briefly my personal philosophy on dating apps. I feel as if the dating apps are always working in their own best interest. After all, they are a business. They are in the business of competing with other apps. So keep in mind that when you're using a dating app, that they want to keep you on the app for as long as possible because that generates revenue for their business. Are they necessarily looking out for your best interests? No. And that's what I want to teach you through mindfulness, self-awareness, self-leadership, and so much more, is so that you can tune into what your body is trying to tell you as you navigate modern dating. What we're going to cover today might actually be a little confronting to hear. It might bring up some things that you've experienced in your past when using dating apps, because the focus that we want to take today is about self-awareness, using dating apps as a mirror for where we're at in our sense of availability, in our own sense of openness to a relationship, and the feedback that we receive from interacting with other people on a dating app. Not sure about you, but I've come across a lot of profiles on dating apps that feel as if they're inactive, or they're active once a week, or their intentions might not be aligned with my own, which when approaching a dating app, that's number one goal, is to understand what our own intentions are about joining it. And those intentions could be a broad range of the spectrum. It could be a casual hookup. It could be casual dating. It could be exploring what's available. It could be exploring yourself through the reflection of other people. And it could also be looking for a relationship, short-term, long-term, marriage, whatever your intentions are when you approach the use of a dating app. I want to teach you how to do that mindfully. We're going to do that through 5 reasons why you may actually want to delete your dating app. And I do want to approach this through the lens of self-awareness. So if what I share today brings up something that feels confronting, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me follow-up questions to get clear on what it was that came up for you. In honor of May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I am offering up a free week trial of our small group coaching program to sift through what comes up for you as you try to navigate modern dating, whether that be using a dating app, taking a break from dating, or navigating a current relationship that you're in. Let's get into it today, guys. Reason number 1, you know it's time to delete a dating app. This is less about deleting the app and more about gaining self-awareness, like I mentioned earlier. And when you're not getting any matches on dating apps, it can be awfully frustrating. I've been there. I've gone through that myself. Let's backpedal just a little bit. Taking a step back and actually reverse engineering why it's possible that you're not getting any matches on the dating app. And I love asking myself this question. The question I am asking myself here is, am I showing up as my most authentic self when I create my profile? When I write my bio, do I actually share something personal about myself, or am I keeping it vague and a little bit at a distance? That's how dating apps can be used as a reflection. What am I showing up as? How am I showing up as? And what am I sharing about myself? So interests of mine. I like to talk about jujitsu. I like to post a photo about jujitsu. I like to talk about my outdoor Colorado lifestyle passion, and so forth, just trying to be as real as I possibly can when I show up on a dating app. That's going to do a lot of things for me. It's going to weed out people who are not meant for me, who are going to just possibly waste my time. So getting clear and specific is a good thing when it comes to narrowing our focus on the dating app, so we're not inundated with so many choices. When I share something about personal on my dating app profile, it also subconsciously shows that I'm available. And it shows that I have the ability to be vulnerable, even with perfect strangers. And it's deeply connecting for somebody viewing my profile, that they may actually get curious and look for a little bit more information by matching and starting the conversation. If you're not getting any matches, it may be an opportunity for you to take a look at your bio or the photographs that you choose and to truly objectively look at what you shared and ask yourself, is this somebody that I would want to connect with? Does that feel like somebody that I would want to spend an hour, hour and a half with on a first date? And that's an opportunity for us to take a look at how we're showing up authentically on a dating app. And if not, then let's check in with ourselves and say, am I actually open and available to casual dating, casual sex, a relationship right now? And if the answer is no, it's a great opportunity to check in and say, maybe I'll just delete the app in general. Take a break, work on myself, ask for some support along the way, and then get back to it when I am actually open and available for a relationship. The second reason you may want to consider deleting your dating apps. Now that you've looked back at your profile to expand and deepen your vulnerability and authenticity and sharing something personal on your dating app, you've ended up getting a few more matches and now conversations are about to start. So you've taken the moment to check in with where you're at and say, yes, this is a person that I want to reach out to and connect with. So your opener sounds like, hey, hello, hi, how was your weekend? And that's the kind of message, and somebody responds back once, and then you get nothing in return after that. Maybe it went back and forth, one or two messages each, and then silence, and then crickets. People may call that ghosting. I actually feel as if there's more to it than that, because ghosting occurs after you've gotten to know somebody, after you've gone out with them once or twice, and then you just never hear from them again. And that says a whole lot more about the other person than it says about yourself. We'll get to that in a moment. So you've got more matches, but the conversations aren't going anywhere. So what is it about that message that you sent or they sent to you, hey, hi, hello, that made the conversation just kind of stall or discontinue or just completely stop after that first message exchange? And oftentimes that can be very hurtful. And that can be an opportunity to check in with ourselves again and say, what is it about this that brought up that hurt? What feels familiar about when that person discontinued or stopped communicating altogether? What was that that felt familiar, and why was that so hurtful? I found myself asking that quite a bit lately as I was dating. I recently got back out there after a 2-month break. I saw a lot of things showing up for me that I wasn't aware of before, that I wanted to spend some time and kind of sift through and digest. So I took a break from dating and dating apps altogether. So I found myself asking this quite a bit as I was dating and using dating apps to meet people, oftentimes bringing up frustration and resentment in the process of trying to meet somebody while bringing my authentic self to the table through a dating app. So what I found is when you take a look at that messaging back and forth, you can ask yourself, does that opener initiate a conversation that's going to lead somewhere? Does it stand out? Does it offer up a little bit of myself included? There's not a whole lot of my personality that can show up in a message that starts with, hey, hi, hello, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Then another opportunity is to ask yourself, did you start with an open-ended question? Did you start with a question that was curious about something that they put in their profile? And that conversation starter that you choose has a great opportunity to initiate a conversation with some depth that's going to help you stand out from everyone else that this person possibly is messaging back and forth with on the dating app. So if you kind of held back, if you were a little guarded while you were engaging and messaging on the dating app, it's an opportunity to check in with yourself and say, what was it that was holding me back from being a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more authentic, a little bit more of myself in that opener? You've heard me say this before, but my standard opener on dating apps was, hey, first name, what's your favorite thing about Colorado? And that brought up an opportunity for me to sift through people who were just traveling through the state, maybe just visiting. We call them tourists. It gave an opportunity to align some values between myself and the other person. If I get a message back of like, nothing, I hate it here, if it's generally negative, then the conversation is going to stall at that point. Might actually say, hey, I don't feel as if I'm getting a whole lot back in return on this conversation that's going on here. And then they'll either unmatch or they'll give me a reason why. That's happened to me recently before I took a break within the last couple of months. So looking at the last 3 or 4 days of looking back at the 3 or 4 years that I was using dating apps and using that standard opening line, Well, what was I always getting? I was getting the same type of person. And so if I were to be intentional again and use dating apps to meet people here in Denver, I feel as if I'm going to switch up that opener a little bit, maybe bring a little bit more of my own vulnerability and authenticity to the table, because I might actually get something different in return, as opposed to the same old, same old. What was that Mark Twain quote? Insanity is choosing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And when I approach intentional dating or authentic dating here in Denver, I want to mix it up. I want to change the results that I was getting, which were 1 to 2 dates, 1 date, and nothing. So that brings up the conversation today of the top 5 things that you may want to consider when deleting a dating app. So this is an opportunity for you to take a look, raise some self-awareness around how you're communicating on a dating app, and eventually ask yourself, what am I bringing to the table when I engage on a dating app? And if you check in with yourself and you say, well, maybe I'm just not available at this time. Maybe I'm not showing interest because I'm not that interested in the dating process, or I'm showing interest in the wrong kind of person and my subconscious is holding me back from deeply connecting with that person. More on that topic with next week's podcast guest. I can't wait to bring you that conversation. I found that there were periods of time in my life that I could ask myself or dig into those. How am I showing up? Am I showing up not interested? Am I showing up interested in the wrong kind of person? And if so, that's when I wanted to choose to take a break from dating, or simply just using a break from the dating apps because my picker was broken. My picker was attracting the same type of person to me over and over and over again. And what I found is I was choosing the wrong person out of some sort of subconscious wound from my past that I hadn't healed yet. And so taking a break was the right fit for me. So the next time you go on the apps and you experience the same thing, don't hesitate to reach out for some support. It's always great to get outside eyes on your profile. It's always great to get outside eyes on how you're showing up in conversation. And that's what a supportive friend, a supportive group, somebody like a coach or a counselor is a great person to bounce ideas off of. Dating apps are simply just a reflection or a mirror as to who you are and what you're bringing to the table, so that you can objectively take a step back, look at your behavior, take ownership of what you can take ownership of, and engage with people on dating apps in a more authentic and intentional way. If you realize that you're not in that place and that you're not ready or available, then it's a great time to consider deleting the apps. Take a break, focus on yourself and the personal growth, and to see what comes out of an intentional period of rest from dating or dating apps. Hopefully a piece of that resonates with you, and I invite you to take a step forward towards a deeper awareness, deeper understanding of yourself when you show up on the dating apps. And that leads us to reason number 3, to consider deleting your dating apps if you're frustrated or resentful. This opportunity for awareness comes between the time when you're having a conversation with somebody and when the date is meant to be set up. Like, hey, I'm actually free this coming weekend. I'm available. I would like somebody to ask me out, or I would like to ask somebody out that I've been chatting with. So what comes up for you in this time frame? What comes up for you when you're chatting with somebody during the talking stage and the date isn't being set? Which one of you feels as if like you want the date and wants to ask for the date? Is that you, or is that the other person? Who's leading the conversation right here? So if you're having a lot of conversations that fizzle out, that run dry, that just kind of end abruptly, it might be time to consider this. Who's taking the lead in the conversation? Who's taking the lead to set the first date? And ask yourself, am I just having this conversation to pass the time or to fill a void or a need? As we were talking about the wounding before, what is unhealed in me that is dragging out this conversation without taking that next step, without being assertive and asking for what you want? Or is it the other person that's in that situation? We have absolutely no idea what the other person's experiencing at the time. We simply just met them right now. They're a brand new connection. We can conjure up a lot of stories in our minds about what's going on in their world, but that's certainly not the route that we want to go. That's kind of a subset of reason number 3, why you may want to delete a dating app. When you're creating stories about another person's experience and you don't know them, might be an opportunity to take a break and seek out some support. And it might be time to delete the app because you're not ready to take the next step and to set the date or to take the lead in the conversation and to be assertive enough to ask for the date. It might sound something as simple as, hey, what's your weekend look like coming up? I'd like to take you to dinner, or I'd like to grab dinner, or I'd like to go for a walk, or I'd like to grab coffee or a drink, happy hour. If that's not something you're comfortable saying right now, work up another way to invite your interest out for a date. Or it might be time to take a look at what is it that is keeping me passive in this process? Why can I not be as assertive as I normally am right now in asking for what I want? And if that's what's coming up for you right now, another opportunity for self-awareness to grow a little bit and to ask yourself, is now the right time for dating? Should I be on a dating app? All right, that brings us to reason number 4 that you might want to think about deleting your dating apps. And this happens after you've been speaking for a while, you've set a date, and then the day of the first date comes, and either you don't hear from them to confirm the date or they cancel last minute. This happened to me recently. I can understand what you're going through. It's very frustrating and hurtful to have somebody cancel or to not confirm as well. And what I want you to check in with is, when this happens, are you taking it personally? Taking it personally is different than being hurt by that or having feelings of disrespect show up for you. Feeling disrespected is different than taking it personally, because that disrespect is showing up in your body. If we're in touch with our body and it signals to us, generally I feel anger or disrespect in my gut. So when my gut is expressing to me, Dave, there's a boundary being pushed here, and it shows up as disrespect, well, then that's an opportunity to check in with, is this person the right fit for me? And if you find yourself taking it personally, this is another clue for you to kind of become a little bit more self-aware of what's happening in your world and your experience around dating right now. And it's possible that a break from dating or deleting the dating apps because you're taking things personally, when this person doesn't know you at all in order to make it personal. Maybe you've had a brief conversation. Maybe the talking stage lasts a little, like a week or two. I want to encourage you to take a look at the things that you're taking personally in the dating process. It's almost a signal or a red flag for you to check in with and say, what is coming up for me that I'm taking this so personally? I had somebody cancel 45 minutes before a date. I took that very personally. That goes beyond just feeling disrespected. That goes beyond just feeling hurt for a day. But internalizing somebody else's choice when they don't know you at all. A recent match on a dating app doesn't know you in order to make it about you. If they're a late cancel before a first date, or they never confirm that first date, that says a whole lot more about them than it does about you. It doesn't give us an opportunity to create a story, but it actually lays out the truth for you in that moment. And the next time that this comes up, as I'm sure, I don't hope for it to happen for you, but I can almost promise you that it will. The next time this occurs, check in with yourself and ask, am I taking this personally, or do I just feel disrespected? And if you feel disrespected, it's very empowering to say to yourself of, here's my boundary. I will not allow this person near me, into my life, or allow them to do that again. If you're having a hard time coming up with the words to say in that moment, don't hesitate to reach out for a little bit of support on that topic either. It can be very challenging, very confronting to set boundaries with other people, especially if we don't know them, or if we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I feel you. I know where you're at right now. I've been there before too. And lastly, reason number 5 why you may want to delete your dating apps is when you meet somebody that you're interested in pursuing a relationship that you can co-create together. Say it's been like 3-4 dates and you really feel a connection and you have mutual interest with great communication and you're both on the same page about where you're headed. This is a great reason to delete a dating app. If we are holding on to some sort of doubt of like, hey, I need a backup plan and just in case this doesn't work out, understanding subconsciously that you still have that as an outlet or a backup plan is almost as if you're keeping one foot in and one foot out of the potential relationship that you're interested in co-creating with somebody. And having the dating app or your dating app profile still active while you're interested in pursuing a relationship with one person could potentially hold you back subconsciously from going all in on that relationship. And eventually, because you have that backup plan, you may be wary of digging into repairing any conflict that shows up for you in that relationship. So let me know what comes up for you as I share that last and final reason why you may want to delete a dating app. It's because you've met somebody that you're interested in pursuing a relationship with, co-creating a relationship with, someone you trust, someone that you have connection and great communication with. And that's what we are here to educate our listeners and audience on how to do along the way. So if you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram at DaveGlaser_CSCS. And I'd be happy to dig a little bit deeper into the top 5 reasons why you'd want to delete a dating app. Thank you for listening. And if you found a lot of value in this conversation today, please share it with one person that you feel would get value out of the topic as well. Click that subscribe button and please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform, as that helps us get the message of the podcast out to more people, into more people's ears. And it can help us greatly impact modern dating culture together. I'll talk to you soon.